Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Old Time Rock and Roll. I'm your host, David Tare, where I've been featuring my personal top 3,000 songs of the rock era from 1954 to 1999. And today I'm up to song number 2675, and that one is Drag City by Jan and Dean. I already featured a song by Jan and Dean, so I won't profile them today. Suffice it to say, they were a big surf rock band from the mid '60s, probably second to just the Beach Boys. As a matter of fact, I think I want to talk more about this song than about Gina and Dean. I will get to them in a minute, but an interesting thing about this song and the one I featured yesterday. Yesterday I featured what was it? A Little Honda by the Hondells. Both of those songs were written by one of the Beach Boys, Brian Wilson. He was the chief songwriter of the Beach Boys, and I think you guys probably know Beach Boys were mainly famous for their California surf sound, and I think Jan and Dean just kind of ran on their coattails on that one. But they were a good group, and they were even popular before the surfing really was a fad. They had a lot of songs, hit songs in the late '50s and early '60s as well. But like I said, I'm not going to get into Jan and Dean. But I want to talk a little bit. It was a feature also on this album called Drag City. It came out the previous year, 1963, and it had a lot of the other big hits on it. I never owned this album. I never owned any music by Jan and Dean, but I do like their music. In particular, I like the song "Drag City." And in case you get, and here's a picture of Jan and Dean early on. Two nice looking, kind of preppy blonde beach going kids. The kind you typically see on the beach in California. I think you kind of still do. But very '60s group. Anyway, and here's in case you guys don't know, a drag race. I think that's the last thing I'm going to talk about here. So the song "Drag City" is about a drag race, and they still do drag races today. I think they kind of had their heyday in the '60s, but drag races basically involve these big, powerful cars called muscle cars, and I think muscle cars are even more powerful than they were in the '60s. But what muscle cars were, they were kind of ordinary cars. Like a very typical one would be a Ford Mustang. I think this is a later Ford Mustang. You guys probably also know that the Ford Mustang was a really really popular car in the mid '60s, and it was also a muscle car. I mean, what happened with muscle cars? A lot of people liked, they were kind of what you would call grease monkeys. They liked to, build parts of cars and make them fast and make them fancy. And a lot of teens and a lot of young adults did this in the '60s. I think some people still do. It's not as popular a fad as it was back then. But it was kind of part of the California surf scene. It wasn't all about surfing. A lot of it was about, racing, having cool looking cars, fixing them up, and, drag races. I think you guys probably remember the drag race scene at the end of Grease where, the Scorpions have a drag race with the T-Birds, and of course the T-Birds win. They let the main guy of the Scorpions, I forget his name in the movie, but they basically left him in the dust. John Travolta did. He becomes the big hero at the end of the movie, and he even wins Sandy's love at the very end. So nice little musical with a happy ending. I still like it. The music in that movie's great. I'm getting very sidetracked now, but I just want to mention drag racing. So it's a quarter mile race. That's what it is. I mean, these are very, very fast cars. I mean, most of the cars that enter drag races, they can go at least 200 miles an hour. And if you just accelerated from 0 to 200 in a quarter mile, the whole race would only take about I think 8 seconds. And now people can do it even faster than that. They can do it in about 6 seconds, I think, maybe even less than 6 seconds. I don't know what the latest is on drag racing. And I believe they release a parachute at the end of the race because they're going so fast. It would be really, really dangerous to stop all of a sudden. I mean, you're pulling major G's when you're drag racing. Think about it. You're going from like 0 to 200 in 8 seconds. That's a 25 mile per hour per second acceleration. If you convert that to metric, that's about what? I think about what's that? 40 kilometers per second. That's four G's right there. 40 meters per second square. That's four times the acceleration due to gravity. I'm a physicist. I'm a physics nerd, by the way, and I've never owned a sports car. Closest I ever came was my Prius, which I still own, by the way, but I lost my car insurance last year, partly because I got in too many accidents. They weren't serious accidents. They were mostly just parked cars on the side of the road. I hit a gas station once. I have bad situational awareness. I'm not a very good driver, even though I love driving and I like driving fast. But I'm not dangerous. But drag racing is a very, very dangerous profession. I'm sure a lot of drag racers have died. So I'm not glad I never drag raced. But they're very fast raced. Like I said, they only last a few seconds, but I hear they're very exciting. I've never been to a drag race either. I have been to car races. I've been to a couple car races. They're very noisy. That's the main thing I don't like about it. These muscle cars. Any kind of car that can go like 200 miles an hour. They're very, very noisy because they have really powerful engines. So I think if I ever go to another car race, I'm gonna bring earmuffs because I can't stand the loud noise like I used to be able to. Even loud rock concerts are too much for me now. And there is an old saying, if it's too loud, then you're too old. But I've never really liked super loud rock music. This is another digression, but I'm glad I never went to a Spinal Tap concert because they might have made my eardrums bleed like they were singing about. I'm not a big heavy metal fan either. I just like good music. I don't think good music needs to be loud. A little bit loud is fine. I think the Beatles were loud enough. Anyway, enough of that. Anyway, I guess that completes my video for today on Drag City by Jan and Dean. Thank you for watching. Lightning McQueen says thank you to Lightning McQueen from the Disney movie Cars. And in case you haven't seen that, that's him featured here. So thank you for watching. Long live rock, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.